With the reading of the journal. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Report of select committee.
We have none, Mr. Speaker.
Report of standing committees.
We have reports on the calendar, Mr. Speaker.
Introductions of bills and constitutional amendments. Gentleman from Hines, Mr. Denning.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask unanimous consent to dispense with the reading of the introductions.
Hearing none, we will follow that procedure. Resolution, petitions, memorials, and other papers.
We have none, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. This time we'll have the introductions of guests and visitors. Do we have any guests or visitors to be introduced today? Gentleman from Rankin, Mr. Rogers.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, would you help me, along with the Rankin delegation, in making welcome to the House of Representatives Boy Scout Troop from Pearl, Mississippi, Boy Scout Troop Pack 307, and also their leader, Amanda Lewis. Y'all stand up. Let's make them welcome.
Gentleman from Lamar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is my distinct honor and pleasure to introduce our Doctor of the Day. If y'all would help me welcome Dr. Stephen Beam, who is from Summerall. Dr. Beam practices in Hattiesburg. The name may sound familiar. He is married to Justice Dawn Beam. If y'all would help me give Dr. Beam a warm welcome.
Gentleman from Alcorn.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If you in the House would make welcome, we've got a couple of Alcorn County supervisors, along with County Engineer Johnny Crotch, Jimmy Tate Walden, and Lowell Hinton. If everybody make them feel welcome.
Gentleman from Madison, Mr. Bumgar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. One of our House pages, Abby Johnston, a constituent of mine, turns 18 today and is eligible to vote. Please congratulate her. Thank you.
Gentleman from Tishomingo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would the House please help me make welcome some supervisors, the port director from Yellow Creek Port. Would you guys stand up and be welcome today in the House of Representatives?
Do we have any other introductions at this time? All right, I don't see any. This time we'll have our introduction of our pages. I'm going to ask the pages to come forward and stand and be recognized. And we'll recognize one of our head pages, Jalea Brown, to introduce our pages for the week. Please give them your attention.
Good afternoon. Pages, when I call your name, please step forward and wave. Quenisha Beasley from Jackson, paging for Representative Alice Horton. Alan Newell from Jackson, paging for Representative Larry Marshall. Jakara McAbee from Jackson, pledging for Letitia McAbee. Abby Johnston from Madison, paging for Ronnie Frith. Anna Johnston from Madison, paging for Andrew Taylor. Rivers Williams from Jackson, paging for Gloria Purnell. Leonard Dishman from Jackson, paging for Tiffany Ward. Shannon Simon from Brandon, paging for Douglas Beckham. Laura Duncan from Florence, paging for Tom Weathersby. Adam Thornton from Jackson, paging for Jonathan Robinson. Tatiana Moody from Philadelphia, paging for Jackie Bell. Remy Smith from Petal, paging for Diane Ashley. And Mike Moore, Jr. from Jackson, paging for Mike Moore, Sr. Thank you.
Thank you, Pages. We appreciate your service this week and hope you have a good time. Gentleman from Lee, you had further introduction.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to amend an introduction. I want this body to know that Dr. Beam was born in the Salem community of 81 County, Mississippi, and he claims that as home.
All right, I don't see any further introductions at this time. We've introduced the Pages. We will go to the calendar. Gentleman from Rankin, you wish to take up an item? Chairman, recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I call up House Bill number 32.
Gentleman calls the bills up, moves the rules to be suspended. Bill considered engrossed, read the third time, and placed on final passage. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Gentleman recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May I be recognized for an amendment?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the clerk has the amendment, and that's very briefly. The bill has the effective date July 1st, 2017. It should have read from and after its passage, and that's all the amendment does. And move
Questions
adoption.
on the amendment? Gentleman from George, you have a question on the amendment? Passes. All right, I don't see any questions. If you favor the amendment number 1, indicate by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Anything further on the bill, gentlemen?
A very quick explanation, Mr. Speaker. We found a technical flaw in our appointed superintendent's bill that could possibly, the counties that still have an elected superintendent could possibly cost a lot of money for special elections, and we have chosen to go ahead in the event that the superintendent resigns or leaves office for whatever reason. It will allow the local school board to go ahead and appoint the superintendent as if the law that becomes effective in 2019 is in place. And that's all the bill does, Mr. Speaker. Move final passage.
Questions on the bill? I don't see any. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. Question occurs on House Bill 32. If you favor the bill, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 110 yeas, 6 nays, the bill passes. Gentleman yields the floor. Announcements, Mr. Clerk. Announcements, Madam Clerk.
Apportionment elections will meet tomorrow at 1 o'clock in room 401A.
Announcements by the members. Gentleman from Madison, Mr. Wilson.
Mr. Speaker, if I may, just to remind the members of the MEC's Capital Day tomorrow. Registration starts at 8:30 in the morning. Governor Bryant speaks at 9:20, and there's a state officials reception at the Jackson Marriott from 11:30, ending at 1:30 p.m., Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Gentleman from Bolivar, Mr. Hudson.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to change my vote from nay to yay.
Now, look, I know we're going to have an orientation. I promised to have an orientation with you and the other new members. But if you're for a bill, you punch that green button. And if you're against it, you punch that red button. I know we hadn't got around to that yet. So which way you want to go on this bill?
I want to go yay on it.
You want to vote green then, right?
I want to vote green.
All right. Is there any objection? Quite a bit of objection there, gentlemen. That's your first vote, isn't it?
That is my very first vote.
All right. Well, I'm going to override the objections and let you change your vote, gentlemen. Change the gentleman's vote, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, sir. Gentleman from Green.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask that the House adjourn today in memory of a longtime member of Leesville Presbyterian Church and my great aunt, Sally Jean Ronseville, who passed away on Monday.
Thank you, sir. We will certainly do that. Gentleman from Tunica.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've been here 1 year, and I made a mistake.
Oh, all right.
I would like to change my vote from nay to yay.
Nay to yay. Any objection? Change the gentleman's vote. Gentleman from Claiborne.
Adjourn in memory of Mr.
Yes, sir. You're recognized.
I request that when the House adjourn, we adjourn in memory of Mr. Pop Wilson of Port Gibson, longtime supporter. He passed on January 1st.
Okay.
And we will take care of the proper
Thank you,
paperwork.
sir. Gentleman from Washington, Mr. Hines.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Adjourn in memory.
Yes, sir.
On behalf of the Washington County delegation and the AKAs who are members of the House of Representatives, I'd like to ask the House to adjourn in memory of Ms. Juanita Turney, who passed today.
Okay, thank you, sir. Lady from Hines, Ms. Sykes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to ask that the House adjourn in the memory of one of my elementary teachers, Ms. Juanita Blunson, the wife of Frank Blunson, former councilman for the city of Jackson, and also in the memory of Reverend Dr. Leon Bell, a longtime pastor of New Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church and a strong member of House District 70. Adjourn in his memory. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Gentleman from Rankin, Mr. Moore.
Mr. Speaker, I failed to ask for unanimous consent for immediate release of House Bill 32. We need to get that
Is there
thing
any
to the Senate.
objection? Hearing none, we will do that. Any further announcement by any member? Gentleman from Holmes, Mr. White.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Draw everybody's attention to the South Gallery. We got a special guest up there, and I've got to tell you, Mr. Speaker, I caught him trying to come in a back door to Capitol, and he was trying to use an old key, and it didn't work. So I guess our security's working pretty good because his access was denied, and I was glad to help him in the back door. Representative Joe Warren's here with us in the South Gallery.
Welcome back. Glad to see you, sir. Any further announcement? All right, I don't see any. Recognize the gentleman from Holmes for the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the House stand adjourned until 2 p.m. tomorrow.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. House is adjourned until 2 p.m. tomorrow.